Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the draft right away. I didn't get a chance to breathe. Let's take a look at the bans. Syndra ban on blue, Gragas ban on blue, and Kai'Sa forcing a Xayah ban. Right away, G2 is forced into a meta that is very comfortable for FPX. So if I look at these first three picks, super comfortable for FPX. Nautilus mid lane should be decent against Ryze. They can set up ganks. The 2v2, depending on what TM picks as a jungler, maybe they will pick a Lee Sin, and then 2v2 is going to look super dangerous, and that's a way in already for FPX. Varus, I think, is a big question mark. Qiyana is something that G2 is going to be forced to ban the entire freaking series if they're afraid of it. Maybe on blue they're not going to do it because they have the maybe they can fit in a similar draft pattern. But now when G2 has revealed their key picks into Qiyana, maybe the second wave bans can be enough to disrupt the composition that is so good into Qiyana. So maybe G2 will have to permaban Qiyana. I feel like FPX could be the type of team to leave Pantheon open as well through a curveball. G2 show right away that they're not planning to. Well, it might change, right? It might change. It doesn't reveal their hand completely. But here, when I look at Nautilus mid into these two picks, I think you're super happy with FPX's Nautilus. So right here, already from the get-go, I'll give a slight edge for FPX, the first picking the Nautilus. Also, the fact that Gragas is banned makes everything so much more important, because when Kai'Sa and Xayah is out, the bot lane meta shifts to a place where Gragas Yasuo is the best bot lane you can play, and now with Gragas ban it makes Yasuo worse, and that's super important too. Sivir pick here would be super dangerous. Yeah, Lee makes more sense, thank you. Nautilus Lee Sin, very good 2v2. Here if you pick Sivir, you need to keep in mind that Alistar can come down there to fuck you. But then you have to imagine that FunPlus Phoenix have planned already 3 picks that are super good into Alistar. You can pick, for example, the Morgana. Maybe they can pick a Poppy. I don't know what they can pick. There's champions that you can pick into Alistar and make sure that Ali has a hard time. Sivir Morgana would be the way. So if they pick Alistar third here, it would be a Morgana ban and +1. Can't really think of what next, but I don't want to get stuck on that because who cares really? I think the chance of G2 going Ala is very low anyway because they are not much of an Alistar team. But Alistar is one of the biggest counters to Sivir because she has a hard time win-walling anything. So G2 have been practicing Varus Tam this entire week. Trust me on that. Trust me. Trust me. This lock-in means they practice it the entire week. But right now, Sivir is super happy to play against Tam. Tamkin is all about that poke, and Sivir can definitely ease some of those tongue lashes, but you know, with Varus spells and Tamkin spells, it adds up. And Varus Tam has been very successful at this tournament, and Tamkin is super good into Nautilus. So here, already denying some of that team fight capability from, of course, Doinby if he's picking that Nautilus mid. Nautilus Lee Sin mid is super dangerous though in the 2v2 mid lane, because I think right now there's no jungler that you can pick that is going to give you a fighting chance here in the 2v2, especially because you send the jungle pick into the second wave bans. Unless you go like Poppy jungle, and then you deny some of that Lee Sin damage, maybe you can do something like that, but no. Could be interesting, there's some adaptation in runes, maybe there's an Aftershock Rise or something like this, because maybe you can proc it, but I doubt it, it's going to be quite bad. Olaf ban is pretty troll, you don't want to pick Olaf into Lee, it's not that great of a matchup, and also like Sivir, like it's good into Nautilus, but it could be the way where G2 find strength in the 2v2, it could be the way. And now this is so powerful, you know, you have FunPlus Phoenix, you locked in Nautilus, and enemy is banning Blitz Braum second wave, super powerful, very powerful. And now in this meta, FPX, it's not like there are mid laners that are missing for them. The most common picked mid laners this tournament has been like Syndra, Ryze, and then like Akali and all of this other crap. But here, sure, you can pick Akali, but Nautilus Lee is pretty good into it. The fact that Akali was untouched is kind of shocking because G2, I guess G2 perma-banned it and FPX also perma-banned it, so they are just staying away from it like it's poison. Something I didn't mention, I realized just now. Now fourth pick should be jungle. Elise Navidad, that's cool. Gives the G2 some windows in the early game to punish the Nautilus, but the moment Nautilus buys Mercuries, then the 2v2 situation is completely doomed. But being blue side here, FunPlus Phoenix, and being forced to blind pick top laner when enemy has Elise is very difficult. GP is a very big pick for Gingun. This is looking like a very crisp combination here for FPX. They need to consider here that they are very AD heavy. super, super AD heavy. Super, super AD heavy. So I'm worried about the Sivir pick. I don't know how good it's going to be. Here, if G2 managed to use their bottom prio and Elise prio in the early game to get an advantage in the mid lane, holy, the Nautilus hover the Nocturne hover. Oh, is it Nocturne top to counter GP? Don't tell me it's Nocturne top to counter GP. Is Nocturne top to counter GP? That's mad. Woo! Yeah, baby! That's the way in. G2 with the composition. This Pyke is not gonna look to lane in the top lane. He's going to look to punish mid. G2 full prior bot lane into mid. Elise, gank mid. Mid. Unless it's for some reason Ryze top and Pyke mid. That could be an idea too. Because if you're playing Pyke mid against Nautilus, you don't give a shit. How do you get ganked? And Nautilus has to stand on the wave. Pyke! Woo! Now, all of a sudden, you have the split push composition. Ryze is going to win split later. Later on, you have the Town Varus in mid lane, just wave clearing away. Hard to engage on them. Gangplank ult might be a problem. Sivir ult might be a problem. If mid tower stands, very hard to siege against Varus Town. And then now, if the Pyke goes into mid lane, same kind of theory. Still, Lee Sin Nautilus have the tools to one-shot him if he goes into the mid lane. I'm just going to wait here so I don't discuss something that's not going to happen a bit too much. But I think both ideas could work here. Pyke though, I think he could potentially get one-shotted by the Nautilus and the Lee. But you're not going to get hooked and then Nautilus stands on the wave. You can always EQ the Nautilus, right? So okay, it's a Pyke mid lane. So here, Ryze in top lane is going to outscale early. Gangplank has an edge. Of course, Gangplank early game is super, super good. But Gangplank is not going to roam. It's all about the scaling here for Wunder. Wunder is going to scale into the late game. And then G2 is going to play a game of stalling. They're never going to want to force fights. They're never going to want to look for any huge engagements. Because the tools on FPX's side are just way too powerful. Way too powerful. And the biggest question still comes down to how does the early game go? Because G2 need to be explosive. They need to attack Doinby in the mid lane. And that is what this plan is completely based on. And then when they transition into that late game, Wunder is going to win that split. Gingo maybe is going to itemize more of Malmortius. And the Varus and the Tahm-Kench pick is going to give you that prio that you need in the bot lane. But now this is going to be a big test because Perkz and Mickey usually don't play this bot lane. They're playing against the team that played it so many times in the tournament. So, a lot of question marks. It all comes down to how much FunPlus Phoenix can snowball in the early game. The team that is ahead is going to dictate so much because the teams, in contrast, want to do so different things. Still, at all times, FPX should be stronger in a 5v5 unless G2 get a nice pick, they get a nice combination where they one-shot someone, they have a Varus ultimate, they have a Pyke Q, there's still some leg room to find strong fights. Caps starting with the roaming boots. Maybe the approach here to the mid lane matchup is to just not affect mid lane at all and then just look to roam. But I'm looking at the lanes we have here. Roaming into Sivir Thresh, quite uninteresting. Roaming into the Ryze GP matchup. Could be okay, but GP should be able to have prio early on, honestly. So, this is... we'll have to wait and see. That's for sure. We have a little pause. Wunder looking handsome. Yo, his last name is pretty much handsome. His name is Martin Hansen. Wunder, what an ice-cold player, man. Stone cold. I think he's the one keeping everyone together when people get a bit too emotional, people are laughing a bit too much. Wunder has a very calming presence in the game. Let's take a look at the bans again. Second wave bans, the fact that Blitzcrank Braum is banned when enemy has Nautilus locked in is crazy. Sivir locked in as well. Against Varus Tahm-Kench, which was a bit scary in my eyes, but Varus Tam should have prio early, and then Sivir, of course, scares like a monster. Team fighting is going to be a bit dangerous here, but the thing is, even in team fights, to discuss team fights, G2 have many tools to disengage. So the biggest engage tool here is of course the Nautilus. But the Varus Tam, even though it's a great bot lane that scales well, is a good denial here for Nautilus as well. But let's see how many hooks this time around, that Nautilus is going to land, because Doinby was landing hook after hook after hook. It was quite crazy, honestly. Quite crazy. Super, super crazy. My goodness. Okay. Wunder looking stone cold. Everybody looks ready. Let's go G2. Very nice draft. Very nice draft that I feel discusses the right things in terms of FPX. They have a plan of attack in the mid lane, whether it's through roaming or if it is through laning, ganking mid. Could be the case. This Severe Thresh could be in danger. That's a lane that you can easily dive, and I think Elise was the perfect jungler for this if you're planning to pick Pyke. Later on, Elise and Tam can easily disengage from the Nautilus. It depends on how many hooks can actually land, because the ultimate is not enough here to find any heavy engages. And then Mickey jokingly saying that he was saving Tam for the finals. That he hasn't reached full form yet. If you're here watching the VODs, and you've already seen the game, just go ahead and skip. I'm posting unedited versions of the games on YouTube first, and then afterwards I have my editor fixing them up. I'm gonna take this opportunity to move quickly to the bathroom. Oh, oops. Let's hear what the casters are saying.
Champions, but kind of in different ways. And I love the differences because with your E on Nautilus, the big advantage it has is Nautilus can shove the minion wave. So many people looking at champions here, but most people.
It's weird because it's like Pyke doesn't want to catch waves. Pyke doesn't want to play on the wave. Either when the wave lands, there's gonna be a gank, or Pyke is not gonna be there. Even if Pyke falls behind on CS, he doesn't give a damn. He doesn't give a damn. Let's get into the game already. I want to see fireworks in action. There is a world where this composition falls flat, where Pyke does too little and Varus gets outscaled. Let's go, we're in the game. Doran Shield in the bot lane for Sivir, already signaling that this lane is going to be tough. Later, the team fight is going to be hard, but the target is Gimgoon. Wunder is going for the Comet instead of the Phase Rush. That's something that I consider always is questionable. I don't think the Comet does enough. And especially because the matchup should shift at a very similar time. I don't think Comet is going to push your matchup into becoming a victory early on. Caps showing on the bot lane. Caps might do some spooky things here where he looks to find some action already level 1. Wunder shouldn't be here. The way he positioned himself was very dangerous, especially because his team was showing on bottom side. And sure, maybe he doesn't know if enemy team wore the tri-bush or not, but I think here with what's at stake, I don't think you take a risk like this, because if Nautilus is here first, then this Rise is going to be dead, and it's off to a great start for FPX. FPX, one of the few teams that can actually accelerate a lead, so the early game for the first time in its tournament is going to be super important. Super, super important. It's been important in other games where you expect a different team to perform better at the later parts. Crisp here fighting Jankos a bit, but Crisp is going to lose a lot of experience. There's my setup. G2 for a good dive. We have the map divided. Wunder with the Comet. With also... Doimbi won't even with the second best mid at the final. Well, has to be true. Let me move my my camera here, and then we put it... Honestly, let's put it here. The player reactions are more interesting than anything else. Doimbi already with the roam. But Wunder lane position is pretty good. And the fact that the wave position is this terrible is very beneficial for Wunder. I don't know what happened exactly for the lane phase, but here usually, like if Wunder was in a position where this wave was slow pushing, I don't think it's correct to look for the harass, because Wunder, the dive from FPX is not that strong. Or maybe the approach is take Wunder's HP down enough, and then maybe the dive is going to be possible. But here with the wave coming in, where is Nautilus? Nautilus? Caps has TP, Caps has TP, Perks has TP. Caps is gonna match, Caps is looking to match. TP for TP, tit for tat. Here is the Q. Oh, FPX playing that much better. Playing that much better. Caps with TP. They can redive very easily. This is huge, huge for FPX. They burned the TP, they managed to nail the dive as well. It looks like Gimgun's approach was the right approach, looking for that poke. I thought that diving was not an option, but I keep forgetting that Doimbi doesn't lane in the mid lane so much. He likes to roam, and it seems like he has full prio into Pyke, not a surprise, and he didn't need to give any respect to Elise because she only has pressure on level 3. Beautifully executed from FPX. Very, very nice. You have to put in question that Wunder's flash, if it could have been better, or if the TP timing could have been better, or the target selection from Caps. The fact that he starts channeling Hook before anyone tanks the tower, if you take a look at this. So here, Nautilus full prio against Pyke. He doesn't do damage on creeps. Normal. This is not about playing for prio. Pyke is the type of champion that ignores prio. Here also, Wunder eat the creep. He also eat the creep, and then here he should keep Q because he wants to keep one rune for the move speed. Because here, for example, he can definitely push himself in a better position. He can walk towards here. But here, Doimbi gets to walk all the way around the flash auto. And I think Wunder should have kept a rune here. He eat, and then he shouldn't Q. And then W into Q, get that move speed, flash, and then look to run into this direction. And then Cap starting to channel his Q already when no one tanks the turret is a mistake, because it's very easy for them to maneuver themselves around. Imagine in a world here where Caps keeps his Q, then Doimbi flashing onto the Rise is not going to be as effective, and then Caps gets away from this, he needs to run off. Super, super good stuff for FPX. Rise, of course, is going to TP back, and it's not going to be the end of days for his matchup. This is not a Gangplank Sheen base, so he's going to probably get like a Sapphire Crystal, maybe a Ruby Crystal, a Longsword, a Cull in some cases. Wow, jungle-wise though, Tian invested a lot of time while Jankos was clearing, and now he's taking all the topside camps, and I feel like G2 going to abuse this opportunity to maybe force a face check. Because here it could be interesting if G2 stood in these bushes, because imagine they are camping in this bush right now. I don't feel like Lee Sin had any clue, and then they can look to dive this. So here we have a replay. Wunder should keep his runes, Caps should keep his Q. Like his Q didn't do anything, and usually what you want to do is you want to save your spells until the enemy starts diving. And imagine if Doimbi here with the flash auto is going to get hooked, then he can block the hook of Doimbi, and all of a sudden Wunder's flash is going to be so much more effective. I wonder with the big CS lead though, because Gimgun was focusing only on harassing to make the wave, make sure he tanks the wave, and then of course get the wave into the turret. and Rise still managed to catch a very, very big wave, and FPX shared that whole wave under the turret. So here, Wunder dying is not the end of days, but here if he dies again, then it's a disaster. Very easy to feel safe here because Elise has full control over the river. But let's take a look at how Tian found entry here. Let's take a look at Tian's position here. He's walking, he's walking, he's walking. He's going to ward hop over the wall. He knows Rise timing has not been our ward. And then Elise is moving in here. And then Wunder is getting caught. This is very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And FPX, fucking Tian, finds this gank. You know, Elise has full control. Rise felt so safe. And he finds the little window, the little hole there where Tian can gank. Because he knew Elise was on his blue. He knew enemy has full vision. And it's very natural for G2 to feel safe there. And now Jankos trying to push in the wave to save Rise from disaster. Let's see now if... Ooh, the barrel and the flash of Jankos. So Jankos doing everything he can to unfreeze here because Rise is losing a lot of CS. And on top of that, when Jankos loses this much HP, Rise is going to be in trouble because the regank can happen. Everything that is going on here, he needs to question. He needs to question because is Lee Sin in the bush? Is Nautilus gonna come? Okay, Nautilus showing on wave. I feel a bit safe now. Okay, Gimgun is playing in a way that shows that Lee Sin is not here because he's unfreezing the wave. I'm good. So there's all of these small micro decisions you have to do with Rise, because if for some reason Gimgun kept freezing here, then all of a sudden it might be a big mental game where Lee can punish. But Gimgun didn't go for it. He let the wave crash. That's a huge signal for you as a top laner that the enemy is, of course, already in base. So Gimgun here should be safe. I don't think Wunder has that much damage to look for it live. Jankos is coming around. They're trying to keep Gimgun in the lane, which is going to be the case because Rise is going to push very fast. Okay, Gimgun's going to lose a couple of CS. Oh, Jankos is going to cancel again. G2 with the equalizer, trying to pressure in. Okay, so now the question is, the big shocker in the draft was that we have Nautilus Spike matchup in the mid lane, but so far it has been very low activity. Both mid laners, after using a lot of time in the top lane, went into farming mode. No flash, didn't get punished, which is a question of decisions. Tian kept pressuring into top. They want to give GP an advantage, and at the same time, looking at the bot lane matchup. Ooh, Perk's getting quite chunked here. BF against Vampiric Scepter. The fact that Sivir is even here and she reached BF with no problems is a very bad signal for G2's bot lane. You can't play Varus Tam and then lane to the point where enemy Sivir gets a BF sword. I feel like they're playing FPX's game here. This is in FPX's wheelhouse. They understand the lanes, they understand the counters. They understand how to maneuver themselves around G2's poke in the bot lane here, and you have to question the choice here of Varus Tam. They picked it for the prio, they picked it to have a tool against Nautilus, but right now the Sivir, the fact that she's even here, she's going to start pushing, because now LDBX is going to use his spells on the wave, and the fact that he can spell shield perma is going to be enough for them to have perma prio. FPX also secured a dragon, full prio on bottom. We talked a lot about the other side of the map, but the fact that BF sword into Vampiric Scepter and a dagger, that's super, super good for FPX. A lot of things here pointing in FPX's direction. The fact that Doimbi didn't get punished with no flash and also buying Mobies is crazy. And now the FPX combination here, the level 6 one-shot is definitely possible, but the wave position is too bad. Caps is going to catch. But this, as long as Caps is playing in a way where he cannot pressure with jungle, then Doimbi is just going to keep roaming top. Every wave that crashes, every time Caps has to respect Tian, then Doimbi is going to push in, and then Rise is going to get dove. This is going to happen over and over. And now G2 can't really return fire because bottom is in a position where Sivir Thresh has prio. So as long as FPX keep doing this, mid 2v2 into top, mid 2v2 into top, then G2 have no counterplay. No counterplay at all. This is super, super good for FPX. Super, super good. Very, very strong position of the game here. And now Sivir Treasure respecting on bot lane, they're basing for double longsword, but it's not worth it. But you can see there how Tian is angling. Always through mid lane. He was backing up Doinby so he could push like a maniac and force a 2v2 if necessary. And then together into top. Together into top. Placing these pings. Slowly, slowly taking over any top side jungle. Nautilus, Lisa and Faye shaking together, pushing Elise out. Absolutely beautiful. Now Varus needs to base. Maybe G2 should look for a swap. Maybe they look to find a tempo play. Here Mickey is going to get a plate, not get a plate. I don't know how it works if he hit the turret. Oh, he gets it. Okay. This Ryze is in trouble. Because even now Tian is so fed that maybe they don't even need Doinby to one-shot him. Doinby basing on a pink permanently, and all of a sudden, you know, the spike pickup, it sparked my imagination, but so far it's been quite disappointing. It hasn't done anything. Nautilus has been able to pressure, and maybe the mistake was that Jankos was trying to save through top lane and wasted a lot of tempo through top lane. Now here, Tam needs to be very careful, because if Tam shows, then FPX are not going to hesitate to dive. Caps is rotating away from mid lane to maybe save bottom. Caps getting chunkarooed, but he's pike, so he doesn't care. And now Varus is going to get dove. And Varus is getting dove for nothing here. Tam cleared 2 pink wards and showed on top. And now Caps, I think here... maybe FPX overrespected because Caps was very late on the rotation because he got pushed out. Caps is committing all the way into bottom, of course, and then I guess Mickey can Tankenge ult into bot lane. That's why they are afraid of it. But here FPX definitely have a window to dive perks if they wanted to. But there's a lot of moving parts. There's the Pike TP, the Ryze TP. They don't want to take any risk. I respect it. No problem. Tam gets caught. Oh, the plant could have been dangerous. Mickey sidestep here is super, super important. And then Tian gets clapperooed here. If you don't plan to dive, then don't be in dive territory. G2 find a very important pick. Very important. This might be like the thing that puts perks on Blade Running King, and all of a sudden they have some chances. Tankenge ultimate, a bit troll. You know, here with Doinby's purchases, then G2 definitely have some chances in the 2v2 mid lane. Because it's not like this Nautilus is that tanky. He has his Aftershock. If he doesn't get to proc it, let's say he gets cocooned, and then all of a sudden Jankos and Pike can do his full combo, then definitely there's some chances to kill Nautilus, because that's what they need to disrupt. Here Caps has Prio. Caps has Prio, he's going to use it. He's going into bottom side. Now G2 seem to put in the gear after Tian gets caught and killed. Wunder trying his best to survive this lane. It's crazy how far ahead this GP is. And Ryze is maintaining a very healthy CS lead. FPX now, you know, if G2 can find a way to disrupt this blue buff, then they get a lot of pressure, but Elise is not on the map. Boom, Tian going for that Gromp, not paying attention to his teammates, and the fact that Nautilus and Sivir are showing gives G2 the go sign, because the only Thresh could be there. Maybe a Lantern, but they have enough CC to just burst the league. So there, the fact that Nautilus showed, Sivir showed, that was the go sign for G2. So Ryze is doing super, super well. Let's see now how it develops. G2 need to pressure through mid lane. If they don't pressure through mid lane, Domi is going to take over. 1v1, there's not a 1v1 champion Pike. He needs to interact. He needs to mingle at the party. He needs to socialize. Take a little sip, take a shot, you know, start to socialize. There we go. Nautilus, even though he doesn't have tank, is quite tanky anyway. I thought this Elise with his support item is going to be tanky. Crisp has no Aftershock here. Very, very nice. Okay, 2 ults wasted. 2 ults wasted here. This was the strength of G2's composition. They can kite back. Gangplank ult is gone. If they wait this out, maybe G2 can look to be stronger in this fight. All it takes is one reset. Caps is looking at it. Boom! Important stopwatch from FPX. If this stopwatch didn't land, all of a sudden you're in trouble. Perks with one of the worst Varus ultimates we've seen all tournament. All good. This was kind of iffy. G2 should be super happy because these stopwatches are clutches. It can be the clutch factor behind a teamfight shifting. And then here FPX used their ultimates, G2 got to disengage, Varus is on Blade of the Ruined King, so G2 should be stronger in this position. Wunder used TP, Gimgun used TP, they're quite happy. Wunder, you know, the beauty of playing Ryze with Pyke is that Ryze can farm 2 lanes. He's like, yo, I'm gonna farm this, then I'm gonna go farm this, and then I'm gonna farm this. You don't give a shit. Ryze can take everything, he can take everything. And no matter how far behind his Wunder is going to be, he's going to be able to farm 2 lanes in terms of CS. That's going to be super juicy later. G2 most likely can play a 3-1-1 composition where they put Pyke in the mid lane. That could be interesting. That's what we saw against SKT. Pyke, when it came to the mid game, he had Blade of the Ruined King. Okay, he got hooked. Perks, perks, perks. No, 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 no. He's a bit overconfident in this Tam Coco. There we go. Okay. Don't be TP. I guess that's something to be happy about. Perks can TP into top side, but this is giving FPX a lot of breathing room in this window where Varus is much stronger. And the windows that Varus is much stronger than Sivir, they are not many. If you don't use those, then Varus gets outscaled. That's always the tricky part about Varus. Here he had Blade advantage. Sivir is going to build into 1 item, maybe get another BF with his kill. Who knows? The Essence Reaver is going to be finished, that's for sure. So Varus TPs into top side. Perks walks in for a trade. He looks for a Q and then he gets hooked. And yeah, that is all Perks wrote. Tian finding a very nice position in the bush to look to impact. It's beautiful how Tian always switches it up. You know, it's easy to summarize FPX as a team that plays only through mid lane, but Tian really gets into your head. Here he has impacted through lane many times already, and now you have this mindset where Doinby can fake pressure a lot because you don't know Tian's position, and then Tian is showing up on top side when you respected them in mid lane. So Tian, honestly, playing around vision super, super well. This is the man to watch if you want to get better as a jungler. Watch him. Look at his decisions because they're always, always on point. Absolutely crazy. So here is the damage. Caps with the flash away. Oh, Protobelt. Protobelt is enough to take it away. Ryze ultimate. Wunder's coming in. Doinby. Spider Doinby. Speaking of spiders, Elise Navidad. Okay, 1 for 1. 1 for 1. 1 for 1. You can see there. There is enough damage here to kill Caps in one shot with all the CC that Nautilus has. If you look at the super matchup in bot lane, Nautilus is quite decent into Pyke. Because Nautilus just has too much CC, Pyke cannot use his invisibility, his mobility the same way. But here probably Caps could play it better because it's kind of silly if you have E and Flash and you die to this. It just shouldn't happen. Stopwatch bot from Nautilus. We're not going to get a replay. Who cares? We move on from that point. I'm pretty sure Caps could survive. But yeah, we don't need to get stuck on it. G2 now. Pyke has TP, so he's already on the map, but he's hovering into bottom. Caps reading the map situation very well because here the map is divided and Caps is just ignoring mid lane, going into, of course, bot lane to break any potential dive. Caps doesn't give a shit about CS. Sivir is in the mid lane. It looks like FPX might find a beneficial trade here where they can take mid tower. You know, if you look at the state here, you see that Perks is top, Rift Herald was taken, and Ryze is bottom. Who would wave clear mid? I feel like here, if FPX made a full rotation into mid lane and actually hit the mid lane hard, they have double, double demolish, they could have taken down this mid tower. I think this mid tower is way more important than any of the side lane turrets, and G2, the fact that they are leaving themselves so open is quite dangerous, and G2 can't even TP on bottom. I don't want to see some deja vu here of SKT series where always Caps TP to save Wunder's misposition, because here I think, yeah, he's just dead. Okay, no TP, no TP. But yeah, I think if you're G2, you're quite happy with this because you keep your mid turret alive and you trade. I thought the position was quite bad, considering you sent Pike into bot lane. FPX are continuing to push, but they're playing against the Rift Herald, so here G2 should be faster. But sometimes speed doesn't matter if the outcome of what you get is the same. What G2 might win here is just tempo. G2 are hovering into bottom. Perks is going to look to make this Herald ram into the turret, but you don't want to take inhibitors this early in the game. Perks is very low on mana, he's looking to base. 2 for 2. So as you can see here, tempo didn't matter so much. It's all about what you get in the end, and both teams get 2 turrets. So even though G2 had a tempo advantage, all good. So now the big thing here is always the swing that happens now when both teams need to base and then walk into mid lane. You have to see what happens here, but it seems like everyone's on a similar timing. Sivir is already in mid lane. Varus is going to walk into mid now. And now, if we judge the map state, GP is itemizing correctly. GP is itemizing 100% correct. He is itemizing to just play against Ryze in this matchup on side, because Sivir and Thresh is gonna have prio. So G2 need to find prio elsewhere. They need to find prio elsewhere, and that is going to be through the Ryze. But Ryze has been so punished, and he's coming into this mid game limping. Caps can be very creative in his movement, and the fact that Doinby has no TP, that is going to be the window, the open window here that our boys in black and white are going to use. Let me just change my camera settings a little bit, because I'm it looks quite dark. Okay, I think that looks a bit better. Okay. Alright, let's continue. So we spoke about Sivir Thresh should have full prio mid. They can just one-shot the wave. Very natural. There is no threat of engage as well. Sivir can play cool, one-shot the wave. All good. Thing is, with Varus down, they can still face check after and maybe look for a fight. Nautilus no TP, that's a big point. GP itemizing the right way to win against Ryze on side. Okay. Okay. Crispy, crispy, crispy. He got deep fried with that crunch. Very, very nice for G2 to find this pick. Crisp just basing very out of position. Honestly, FPX's whole base you could question, because G2 weren't basing, and honestly we have to take a step back and analyze here what really happened. What really happened here? So just before this, so here Thresh Sivir, they're looking to base. This is motherfucking blind, man. Look at that. How beautiful is that? He doesn't see. He doesn't see. He just predicts Thresh movement. Look. Holy, holy. Holy, Perks is smurfing, man. Look at that. And now G2's mid to late game is going to kick into gear. Because here, the fact that G2, even if Thresh doesn't die here, it's such a big window for G2 to pressure so much. I just feel like the issue is then that FPX just make it too obvious that they're basing. Because usually what you want to do is you want to stay in some of the side bushes and then pressure the fact that you can pressure into mid and look to make a play onto mid. I guess Varus and Tam can walk up pretty far. But this is huge. G2 getting a mid tower, getting a kill. This is humongous. Caps also getting a reset. It is good times. Good times. Because there's Sivir one-shotted the wave and then looked for the recall. But then maybe he cancelled base, because we didn't see because of the fog, the camera that we saw them in. But then G2 knew they were basing because of Thresh's position. Wonder, wonder, wonder. Wonder, 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 wonder. Wonder playing a bit too crazy here. What's going on? What is Wonder doing here? He just wants to just queue? I don't think Wonder should ever show up in the mid lane. I think it's just a liability in the mid lane because everyone else is quite safe. Like at least Tam Varus can never get engaged on. They can wave clear. They have the mid tower down now. It's a very positive game state for G2 if shit like this doesn't happen, because G2 just want to scale. They want to make sure Rise reaches breaking point. But now FPX get a lot of breathing room, and this Sivir, the moment, like, it was a very nice call here from FPX, because at the moment Wunder shows up, they're like, what the fuck? And then they just press Sivir ult and they go. It's like, what on earth is this guy doing? And then Chris put the flash. Very nice. Okay. So you speak about the previous situation. I think the big part there was still, I want to just take a look, go take a look back. So Varus catches the wave, he's on time. Then Pyke is here, Tam is coming as well. It's just so hard because they're using fog at the same time. Gimgun is pretty far away and there's no wave crashing. So Sivir pushes in the wave now and looks to recall. And then Thresh is showing, GP is showing on top. Nautilus was on bot side, they spotted him before on the wave. I think what it comes down to is the fact that Thresh died. That's the issue. Okay. The Varus was super pretty though. Like, sure, you get to see the enemy for a little bit after the ward dies, but then he just read the angle of where Thresh was walking and went for the Varus ult. It's not necessarily that the Varus ult is hard to land, it's just that having the balls to predict that Thresh is gonna walk in a straight line and fire your Varus ult, because he could look ridiculous there. Sometimes you have to rate plays by how ridiculous you might look if it fails. And that was a risk. And G2 went for it. So now we had the Wunder play. And now it's interesting that both semifinals had a lot of this shit. People getting caught. Teams trying to get the most out of their tempo and prio, but FPX get a huge recovery here. If you take a look at the gold graph, G2 were climbing, but this is a good swing back in FPX's favor. Caps level 11 is going to be huge as well. That definitely improves Pyke's capabilities in fights. FPX are not looking to commit to the second tower. They're happy with the CS that is lost, and G2 are not committing all the way into bottom because I think it would be a mistake. They just don't want to lose the mid lane turret. And I think if you make a full rotation into bot, Sivir and Thresh can stay and then chunk down this mid tower. So it's not worth it. G2 now with the base. They based after Sivir Thresh. The wave crashes all the way. And G2 is going to be on time for the next wave. They're going to walk out with this wave. But it means that Sivir Thresh has prio, because they're already on the wave. So here you can see Sivir Thresh, they will walk with the wave. Tam Varus a bit further away, they're going to look to catch and to defend. FPX grouping 5 on mid lane. FPX maybe are going to look to dive here, but honestly it's too difficult. Too difficult. They're going to look to repair bottom and then prepare for this Ocean Drake. G2 are very lucky that these are some useless ass dragons, because Mountain Drakes could be so huge here too, because FPX's Nasher is quite weak. The Nash damage is quite shit, honestly. Now with the Rides pushing into mid, you can see that G2 are slowly advancing. You can see them advancing together, facing into jungle together, everyone in position. Caps playing a dangerous life, but Mickey had eats in case he would be hooked there. So all is good, all is fine. Rise managing to push the top wave all the way in is super important. But everything is matched. FPX got the same on bottom, and FPX has an advantage because the Drake is on bottom side. But you can see it's so much easier for G2 to play through mid lane, even in such a position here. If G2 wanted to, they can easily gank into bottom side and find a potential kill on Nautilus. But Moby Boots, of course, makes Nautilus super fast in the queue, maybe lets him get away. But the fact that G2 can pressure mid lane all the way up to that turret and Rise pushing all the way up top gives them a lot more breathing room in terms of interpreting what's going to come next when we talk about Nasher. Here in this particular case for FPX, it's kind of okay, because they have full bottom prio. Next move here is that G2 want to hard force. They're looking for pike level 11, that's for sure. Pike level 11 is very important, but they have the Yumus finished. And then they have Blade and, what's it called? Ginzo finished here on Rise, Varus. This is a huge item spike, and we talked about earlier how you really need to use Varus power spikes because he's going to fall off, he's going to get outscaled, and this is the moment to shine. GP has an itemization that is designed to be good against Elise and Rise, but in a teamfight setting, he's going to have very little presence beyond his ultimate, but his ultimate is very powerful against this team. Rise with no phase rush, Varus, Tahm champions that are in danger when they are in a Gangplank ultimate. We have to see how this fight plays out. Rise is looking to TP on the turret. He's basing, TPing on the turret. They're giving up bottom wave. Here you could consider here if G2 are supposed to push out bottom all the way, but Rise just TPs in, and then G2 are in a good position. Crisp! Crisp, 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 crisp. Crisp! You think Sivir is gonna lantern you out or what? He's playing like Sivir has a lantern, walking up way too far, forgetting his duty. This is not how you play against Varus as a Thresh. And G2 managed to secure this Drake, and Wunder gets to push bottom for free. Very positive for G2, but still, it's natural looking at the strength of both teams. Doinbi has flash, doesn't need to flash. Oh, Cocoon Matat, no Mercury, no Mercury. No Mercury, Doinbi gets away with the flash. Super important flash still. Very good pressure, very good hustle here from G2. Keeping FPX on the toes. They are denying these hookers any presence. Rise is now pushing on bottom. The fact that Rise TP'd earlier is going to impact how G2 can maneuver themselves around the Nashor, because Rise is not going to be able to end those fights the same way. He can't push all the way. Doinbi and Gimgun can do some magic in bottom, knowing that both have TP they can show there. And Nash damage is pretty good for G2, but they don't have someone that can tank it too well. I guess Elise, she has Ninja Tabi and she has the Spiderlings, can tank it a little bit. And Doinbi now going for the hook. Doesn't have Nautilus ultimate, but Wunder has no phase rush. That's the TP. This is the TP we saw when they were playing against SKT. We don't want to see this. No, no, no. Oh! 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 It looks fancy and all, but this is not what we want to see from G2. Very slippery gameplay. Caps gets saved, but now he's still in trouble. Gets out. So here, you can see the problem with Comet. Clearly, phase rush is such a big difference maker when it comes to Rise. I hate Comet. I hate Comet. Now, if I keep repeating I hate Comet, we're gonna get struck by a comet and the planet's gonna disappear. But nevertheless, Wunder is reaching a point where in the matchup he's going to win the 1v1 quite easily. Very easily. And it's all about when that TP comes online, because here Wunder is forced to group. He wants to be on bottom. FPX have options of ganking bottom, but the big difference maker here was the fact that Doinbi didn't have ultimate. If he has ult there, Wunder's gonna die 100%. Then we had the Caps Reflex TP. But this is something that they did against SKT. They kept doing this TP play, and here the entire FPX roster is going into bottom. Going into bottom. Crisp is here with his Moby boots, fucks up the Flay. Could have been killed here if the Flay doesn't get fucked up. Crisp, you know, in the discussion of who is the better support, Mickey is making a case for himself. Picking Tahm Kench, playing Tahm Kench. Gotta give that respect, man. Gotta give that respect. Now, it's hard to judge a Tahm Kench player without really analyzing his lane phase, and we did very little of that on this particular review. But I think Thresh Sivir is hard to pressure as Varus Tahm, and Sivir Thresh can definitely, you know, if they get BF, they're going to be in a good position. But the fact that this mid tower is down is giving G2 a lot of breathing room to walk up. And that's super important against Sivir, because the Sivir can stand on the wave next to her turret, then she's going to one-shot it. But the fact that G2 actually managed to break mid tower allows them to walk up before the wave crashes, and Sivir can't really use her power. And FPX's threat to engage on Varus is very, very limited, so Varus can stack his Ginzo right away when the wave comes, and he can posture in a way where he takes mid-wave prio. And this is super important. The fact that the mid tower fell earlier to Crisp dying, super, super big. Super, super big. Mid turret is game-changing. All ADs are so low range nowadays, and with that being said, okay, don't be no flash, but he gets away. Lantern. Maybe it's time for Nautilus to change to Mercury. He's been sitting on Moe boots for a bit too long. And Doimbi is getting pressured here. G2's composition is very good against Nautilus. Tahm Kench is super good, Elise is super good, and Pyke is hard to catch. Ryze TP is coming off cooldown. We need 2 more minutes until the Ryze TP comes on cooldown. And then FPX here with their shitty dragons, they have very little Nash pressure. So even if Ryze wanted to, he can show on bottom. I don't think this is another Cap situation where Cap shows on bottom and SKT get a Nash for free. FPX are looking for that engage. But you can see FPX slowing down here in mid-game a lot. G2 are not giving them any entry. And G2's 3, meaning the Elise, Varus and Tahm, are doing a lot of good work here. They're walking up at the right moments, they're maintaining vision, and they are just looking to play the stalling game, because how does FPX really break this? So the scaling, just because of how Ryze functions in the side lane, I think it's on G2's side. On top of that, Tahm Kench scaling, don't underestimate Tahm Kench scaling, because level 11 Tahm Kench ultimate, it is almost fucking global. It is so huge, and it makes such a big difference. And Varus is allowed to push so far now, with this mid prio, it's going to mean the world. And now another Cloud Drake. FPX is going to take it. They use this timer where G2 is basing. But as long as G2's mid tower is alive, they don't give a shit. And FPX are going to get 1 mid-wave prio. So it's very important positioning here, FPX. If they can maintain position in front of the next wave, it's going to be very easy. But it's very difficult to do when there's a Varus ultimate and the combos can fly and land. Say Varus ultimate into Pyke hook, into focus target, 1 target down. Super, super good for G2. And while I put a little bit of a question mark in Varus and Tahm Kench's laning phase against Sivir and Thresh, the way they're playing Varus Tahm in mid to late game is fucking sublime. Usually I see these lanes falling off and not having that much pressure, but the way they are contesting mid-wave, using the fact that mid tower is gone, is world fucking class. Super, super good. So Perks, showing off his game knowledge here and his game sense on the Varus. Very, very nice. And then maybe my judgment of the lane is just wrong, because Sivir Thresh is still a very safe and strong lane, and trying to look to punish that with Varus Tahm, maybe it's just not possible. Sivir getting BF Sword, and then afterwards the lane is rough, right? Going to lose prio. But now G2, after that crisp pickup, got that mid turret. I'm going to keep repeating that because it's so huge. Wunder's TP is online, and FPX are going to struggle to find a way in here. Sivir 3 items, good time to fight. Nautilus finally getting Mercury, God bless him. Lee Sin not farming that much. And Varus is quite strong, but the difficulty here for FPX is that Ryze is going to scale so well on side. But of course, if Ryze is going to get a Banshee, then his scaling is not that great and he's not gonna do some crazy dives onto GP. Oh no, Mickey giving an entry. This is the entry frag that they've been looking for. Oh. Seems like FPX are not going to look to pressure Nash off of Mickey's death here, but Mickey is putting in his best crisp impression and dies in the river. FPX break mid tower. Now the nature of the game changes again, because if FPX managed to lurk around and step into enemy jungle, all of a sudden FPX have a lot more angles to engage with. You know, Varus and Tahm is very safe, but all of a sudden if Lee is coming from behind while Nautilus is engaging and the Tahm Eat has been used, all of a sudden everything changes. But two stopwatches for G2 that is going to keep them safe. Excuse me. Going to keep them safe. Wunder did an all-in trade early that we saw on the camera, and then he Ryze ulted out. I think his build is gonna make him so much weaker here. Like, I'm not sure what the purpose of Banshee is, but sure you can block 1Q of GP and potentially block Nautilus Q or Nautilus ult, but they're looking for Ryze to pressure the game a lot here. When Ryze buys Banshee's third, it means that he is looking for that 6-item scale. I just feel like he needs to itemize to look to dive GP on site. Because I think if he goes Spellbinder Deathcap or Void Staff Deathcap, he definitely can do that. But he's going for the safe build. It is telling how G2 is going to look to approach this game. They're looking to maybe find a team fight, maybe find a way to bust this game open with an Asher instead of looking for that split push play. Also, strange that G2 didn't use any of their tools to look to pressure dive with Ryze and Pyke on bottom. Both have TP, and I think they can definitely get away with doing a lot of action there onto the bottom side. Caps now showing in bot. Wunder is going on the top side. They are switching the map position. I wonder if Caps can do any damage to this GP. I think this GP is too high level. I think the GP is also running bone plating. Because Caps damage, I mean, Pyke damage is not low. I don't think it's enough to touch a GP that's level 15. Oh, Domi gets hooked, but it flashes up again, since we talked about it. Okay. Infernal Drake spawning. Wunder wanted the base before it, that's why they kept Caps on the bottom, and now he has Banshee going into Drake. G2 keeping a good position, but FPX posturing and doing exactly the right thing. So always when you lose the position on the Dragon, you need to walk all the way up on mid lane. And then you need to be ready for the fight that's going to come up your ass, or you pressure mid enough to pretty much find this type of rotation into the Drake, meaning you find an angle from behind. But I think here G2 is not going to look for the engage. I think Caps is just looking to clear the wave. He's going to walk to the wave here. That's my prediction. He's going to clear it, and then G2 are going to maintain position, and then Caps is going to come up from a flank, and then that fight is going to be much better. Because here, if G2 go for this fight, I don't think it's the right way, because they're going to face check into Thresh and Nautilus, and if you're running into hookers, then you know you're going to get burnt. You know, it's so easy to land a hook against an enemy that is running into you. So here, Caps should just clear the wave, and then G2 maintain the position on the Drake, and then force FPX to engage if they want to force this. But FPX's best course of action is not to fight the Infernal. I think they need to go and force Nashor. So we'll just have to see how the decisions play out. But I think the difficulty here with FPX's position is that if they fight on Drake, their position is going to be worse unless they find a pick or a hook, of course. And if they force Nashor, you know, there's Tahm-Kench, there's Pyke mobility, there's a lot of tools here for G2 to find their way to Nashor fast. Even Ryze ultimate, this is like the best team in the world to do Drake and then show up at Nashor. So FPX's position is just bad here, and Caps is solving all the issues here if he just goes for the wave. Didn't go for the wave. Didn't go for the wave. Disappointed. G2 is now starting the Dredsky. They get blue trinketed, and then FPX are looking for that engage. Maybe they give a window here for G2. I mean, for FPX. FPX GP ult. Tahm-Kench has 2 summoners open. Tian is looking for that kick. And then Mickey is getting bounced around. And this is quite bad, I think, from G2. Very bad from G2. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah. Double TP, double TP, double TP. Oh my goodness. So G2 needs to look for some magic here. Perk still has ultimate. That's 1! Woo! We talk about magic. Caps delivering the magic. Wunder needs to walk. He needs to posture. He needs to walk. He needs to find the poke. This is very hard to tank. Very hard to tank. They need to fight before Caps gets... Okay, doesn't get a reset anyway. Oh. Okay. Okay, let's rewind that tape. Rewind that tape. So here, in the first place, I don't think G2 were expecting FPX to call them out on their bullshit, because here they're walking up so far. And this works against other teams, but against FPX, they've been very keen and sharp on when to find engages. This is something that they did in the quarters and the semis. Here, blue trinket falls and boom, go button, go button, go button, go gadget, go. And then G2's position is very poor. Mickey is in Zimbabwe and his cousins here are in Madagascar, and here they are in Alaska. So it's very far apart. Very far apart. G2 needed to just clear the wave with caps very deep. I think they could have cleared over here. I think that was the move. And then walk around. Caps would be in position, and then don't fear any Nash play. And then here, the fact that G2 are hovering around here is just a mistake. And usually this works against many teams, but the moment the blue trinket comes down, FunPlus Phoenix just find the engage. Very sharp here from FunPlus Phoenix. Very good. And then here, the position is just too shit. Mickey needs to just burn his fucking flash. He's waiting to flash, waiting for the next game to flash, and then he flashed now. And that is disgusting. We were talking about who is the best support. Both supports kind of having end games, and then boom, the kick of hell. Tian kicks the spider right into Varus' forehead, and you could argue that Elise just killed his buddy. And then boom, G2 get out, and then this situation, Doinbi, very low HP, walking up, thinking his shield is gonna save him from this Pike ultimate. Boom, Pike ultimate lands. And the tricky part here for G2 is that they need to go before Cap's ultimate runs out. So they have about 10 seconds right here, and Wunder is walking up. And I think the play is for Wunder is to E the Baron. Walk into this position, and then E the Baron, and then Q. Because there's full melee champions, so the E is going to bounce. And then they're going to slowly poke. I think Wunder commits too hard on the wrong side, and the barrel lands. And then the fact that he doesn't have phase rush sucks. And then Gimgon tanking all the Qs, like he's too much MR. He's one on the MR, and the Banshee doesn't do shit here. I think the Banshee is so fucking troll. Like, why do you buy Banshee? It's like you want to fight with Banshee, but it doesn't work. And now FPX, prime time position to win this game. They have not been sloppy with their Nashos, and the fact that Gimgon gets away. Okay. Wow, G2 a bit too cocky on the Drake play there, and you could see that FPX just pulled the trigger right away. And then Mickey saving flash for late game. Flash, Mickey, flash! Flash, Mickey, flash! And then he flashed now. Jesus. And then G2 are trying to get away here. They're running. And Yango's of course trying to block the Q. It wouldn't matter. Both would have died most likely. Oh my goodness! Holy, look at that burrito right there. FPX burrito. FPX can just group as 5 now. They're very happy to do so. They have rapid fire AD carry. They can just slowly chip down the turret. Perks walking out very far. This is something that Perks did very good this game. He walks up and uses Tam Kench to find the prio. He needs to clear those waves and make sure that FPX doesn't break any of these turrets. And now Rise is itemizing for Leandris. It's quite disgusting, honestly. Oh, caps. Very sloppy on this fucking Pike, and they are pulling the trigger when they don't need to. G2 trying to pull an FPX on FPX, and that was just not the way forward here. Stopwatch, Wunder, finally the Banshee doing work because it stopped Crisp's hook. Here, if Caps was alive, it would be reset city, but you know, the boss doesn't stop there and Wunder dies here. Maybe FPX can look to push to end. They can look to push to end. Wave is coming. They're very low HP. They're deciding to back off. Perks could probably do some magic here if they look for the end, so it's a good call. So, G2 trying to make the play that FPX likes to do the moment someone shows and just pull the trigger. But here, G2's engage is not at the same level of FPX. They have Sivir ult, they have Nautilus ult, they have tools to actually get to you, right? They have tools to get into you. Well, Caps went for the hook, and you're trying to hook a Thresh, Gangplank, and Sivir. Like, what are you smoking? Caps thinks he's going to get eaten, but if he gets eaten, Mickey's gonna die there too. New Time Kench doesn't work in such a way, and then the Nautilus ult lands, and here Wound is doing a lot of damage. You can see that the hook was blocked by the Banshee. Doinbi hooks, and then there is no Banshee, and then Wunder with no phase rush. Shitty items. This is not a Rise that scales so well. This Rise build is quite disgusting. He's buying Leandris now, and this Rise is not going to reach any crazy breaking points. He's very immobile, no Spellbinder, no Phase Rush, no nothing. This Rise is a reportable offense. Usually I would say, oh, G2 is scaling super good. This is good for them to stall, mid inhibitor, Rise is gonna farm, all good, as long as they can contest Elder at the right time, all good. But this build here from Wunder is something that shouldn't be allowed in competitive play. Shouldn't be allowed. And I'm very critical of Rise builds because the champion scales so absurdly well with AP. So absurdly well with AP. And the moment you itemize something like this, you don't even have Void. Like, look at enemies MR. Everyone has fucking 100 MR minimum. 100 minimum MR. 6 deaths. Personal worst worlds 2019. Great. This is looking very grim for G2. Very, very grim. Now, FPX heavily outscale. Rise is not going to have any crazy impact. G2 need to do crazy magic to win. So this is crazy magic. I don't even know how we ended up in this position. Leeds was in mid lane, G2 rotated into top, and they're going to look to get this inhib. Eat is ready, Perks is life stealing, Doinby went in. Stopwatch. He used Eat already, so maybe Varus is in trouble. One reset. Very good fight, because Doinby fell already. Crisp. Oh! Okay, Tian saves the situation. Kick of Doom. Oh my goodness. Holy shit. But G2 find themselves in such a crazy position. Elise was showing on mid lane, and then G2 just rotated into top. Were they looking to trade inhib for Infernal? I mean, for the Elder? Because FPX was hovering onto bottom, and G2 just all the way committed into top. I was talking so much shit, I completely missed this. And then here, if Tian doesn't find this kick on Perks, Perks is going to lifesteal, and he's going to be able to trade auto attacks with Sivir there, because he has his Keystone is on, he has full stacks of Ginzu, and it would have been beautiful. Now, 4 dragons, Mickey, what is Mickey doing here? For crying out loud, what the fuck are you doing here, Mickey? Come on, Mickey! Get your shit together, Mickey! Okay, Caps, full lethality build now. It's this Pike left a lot to desire, honestly. I was way more excited about it than I should have been, apparently. And this Rise build is quite terrible. What the fuck is this Rise build? No Void Staff, 4 items. No Death Cap, 4 items. No Spellbinder, 4 items. Especially if you don't have Phase Rush, Spellbinder is so important. Or at least you need to go Righteous Glory or something, but this is not a Righteous Glory game. Okay, G2 are base racing. They are trading Infernal. They don't want to fight. They don't want to fight. They just want to give up Nash. Enemy has Elder. They don't want to fight. Varus is TPing top. What is this? Wunder with the flash. Gingo can chase. Okay, didn't decide to go for it. This is a very slow ass Rise. You could have definitely chased. And G2 only find a turret for the Baron. So I was talking about the previous situation, then another situation appeared. Let's pause. So, after the Elder Drake falls, after FPX won the top situation, FPX were first to the Elder, they finished the Elder, they got the Elder. Nash was about to spawn. Elder is really good for the Nash fight. G2 doesn't want to take this fight because they're going to lose it. 100% they're going to lose it. So they tried to trade bottom, but the Varus TP top was kind of strange. They Varus TP top just because they want to clear the wave to make sure that if Rise gets caught, that FPX can't look for the game-winning push. Could be the case. But G2 just looked to trade something, and Rise gets away, and maybe Kim Gun could actually chase into that. They were expecting Pike Fog, probably. But this is a very slow Rise. This Rise build is awful. Mickey getting caught many times. As many times as Crisp, actually. They've been caught an equal amount of times. And now G2 needs to survive this Nash again. Very difficult. The Sivir is going to pound these turrets as long as FPX look to push together. Mid inhibitor respawns. G2 do a very good job of pushing the waves that are unattended by FPX. They do this very well against any team, honestly, and this is why it's so difficult to win games against G2, because they are so good at clearing waves, understanding how far they can walk up. But now the Sivir is so monster strong. Elder's gonna go away, this turret is gonna go away as well. Varus is walking in the bot lane, they're looking to do shenanigans. Shenanigans! Woohoo! There's no wave though. FPX winning this shenanigans right now. Doinb with the TP on the turret. Doinb and Gimgum matching on bottom. They were looking to find a trade here, G2, but G2 might be threatened with an end here because FPX is so powerful. So if G2 do shenanigans, FPX can easily go fan, because this is a Sivir that is 9-0, baby. 9-0 Sivir. It's hard to realize in a game like this because the power of the champions is so different. But LDBX managing to pick up a lot of those kills in those fights. But honestly, Tian's kick on Varus was so fucking insane. It was absolutely monstrous, man. Really, really insane. It was game winning, because there, if Varus survives and he can keep autoing, Sivir is not going to be able to trade autos with him. And now, honestly, it looks like a game boom situation here for G2. A very game boom situation. They are playing against a Nasher. They need to make this turret bottom survive for 1 minute. FPX are resetting, so I guess it should be cool. So usually you just want to maintain pressure on bottom for as long as possible and look to base or rush bottom, do something, because you have Nasher and there's only one inhib left. Super creeps are getting pumped out on top, but we have to remember that G2 also got the top inhib. So here the fact that G2 managed to clear 3 waves on bottom means that there is no way that FPX pressured this, but Wunder gets caught. Yeah, fuck your Banshee, fuck your Liandry. This is what you get for buying like this. Jesus. Wunder getting caught again, like what is he even doing there? Wunder having 7 deaths. Oof. G2 getting pushed here, getting pushed super hard, because they were throwing a lot of bullshit on the wall. A lot of bullshit on the wall, and now FPX are gonna end. FPX are gonna end. What's Varus gonna do here? 40 minutes into the game. Okay, Pike misses the combo. Crisp flashes. Yankos, very low HP. Perks is fighting for everything that he can. Perks! Can Perks do it? Come on, Perks! And then Tian saved the kick. Okay, we have a series. So, honestly, mid-game, heavily won for G2. How they pressure around the map, Crisp getting caught. Big win for G2 in the mid-game. How they played the Varus Tam was phenomenal. And then Wunder getting caught, Mickey getting caught over and over. FPX don't fuck around. They don't fuck around. The moment they have an entry to engage, they find it and they chop you in half. Chop you in half. G2 cannot fake pressure or do whatever the fuck you want to call what they did as much as they did. Wunder getting caught, Mickey getting caught. That was the segue for FPX's success here. Many objectives were won because of this. The first Nasher. Boom, the Elder Dragon on top side, the fight, something we need to take a look at again because there was no replay when we expected the replay. Let's take a step back. Okay, inhib is already down. Let's take it a bit further back. So here Caps was doing shenanigans. And then it's a bit later. So we have a replay now, blah, 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 blah. And then here, this is the time where G2 start to hover into bottom side. Varus gets to push 2 waves. Waves is stacking. Mid lane, G2 managed to get prior on 1 wave. And then G2 commit to the mother freaking base race, or what you want to call it. Elder Dragon for inhib trade call here. So Elder Dragon very nicely overlaps here with the Baron. It's very important. And then G2 go for the play here. They just say, fuck it. We're too late for Elder. We can't contest Elder. We are going for the inhibitor. Jankos gets engaged on. But this is not too bad that Elise gets engaged on Burns Flash, because that means that the enemy team is not on Elder and you have information to work with. Perks here low HP from the Gangplank ultimate and the Nautilus ultimate, so 2 ults already burnt here for FPX, and Perks is life stealing away. Doinb so low HP, the Varus ultimate completely whiffs here. It doesn't land on anything, and here if the Varus ultimate lands on Thresh, all of a sudden FPX here, Gingung and LWX have to play this fight very differently. So the Varus ultimate was very important. Because the way the fight started was very bad. The fact that Doinb had no ult, GP had no ult already, was a positive fight here for G2. Perks gets to lifesteal up, Doinb is in stopwatch, and then Ryze gets hooked here, and Ryze just being a silly Billy here, the Varus ult, if it landed, Wunder getting hooked, if that doesn't happen, everything changes here. Because Varus ult was such a huge thing here. Doinb was already in stopwatch when the ult flew. Look, that's when it flew. So it's not like Doinb stopwatched it and someone's gonna comment, well, Doinb stopwatched it and that's why it missed. No. We review and we look for the perfect play. That's what's up. Okay, so they get the first reset, and then look at this kick that just saves it, because look at Crisp taking so much damage. Perks with the flash, and then look Tian. Tian comes in, boom, boom. And that's the game-winning kick there, because look, Perks is trading blows here with LWX, and you could say that Perks' mistake was here to flash for the Thresh. If he keeps flash and Thresh is out, and maybe he dies anyway because of the slows from Damgenj, maybe this is enough. I wonder as well if Mickey already has Eat on cooldown, because here if Mickey also gets the Eat off when the Lee Sin kick comes, then all is good. On top of that, then notice the Varus also got hooked here from Crisp. He managed to get the hook off, and then the Varus can't move, and Mickey, we can't tell if he has Eat or not. If he has Eat, he's obviously fucking trolling. If he doesn't have Eat, then it's whatever. But you could argue that the flash was just a mistake from Thresh. And then this lines up FPX for the Elder Dragon and the Nash. And then the game became super, super difficult. Also this Ryze build, for the love of Jesus. So to summarize the game, FPX, very strong in the early game. Very strong in the early game. The plan that G2 had, that I could imagine with this composition, didn't work out. Wunder was getting heavily pressured. The TP situation was a misplay from G2, but maybe it would have ended bad anyway. And then the mid game was absolutely beautiful from G2. They pressured well, but they were pressuring for nothing, because this is, Santa Claus. If Ryze is Santa Claus, he only brought you coal. And it's sad because G2 was such a good boy this year. This game, it definitely gave all the breathing room in the world for Ryze to recover. And when you itemize like this, you're never going to recover. When you have Comet, you're never going to recover if you itemize like this. This is just a shit Ryze build. You have no mobility, no damage, no kill pressure. What is the point of this build? This build is disgusting. Very disappointing. FPX, really good. Excuse me. Bless you and bless your face. I'll catch you guys in the next game. We have a series at our hands. We have a fucking series. And G2 excelled in that mid game. They had this composition planned for FPX specifically. And honestly, I liked it. But you're not going to win the World Championship if you play like this, Wunder and Mickey. That's for sure. Many situations that get caught. And that lined up FPX for an easy objective take, because without these catches, without these opportunities that G2 kept giving them, FPX was struggling. They were struggling to find pressure in the game. So, guys, that's it. Catch you guys on the next game. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.